Well, we're getting to an end of an era. uh, uh, so PlayStation has had a very interesting week. Um, it started with them removing up to or around 500 movies and TV series off your account. Even if you paid for it, even if you paid for these things, they're gone. They're going to be removed over time. There was a licensing agreement that expired, and there's no plans on them renewing it. And then, if that wasn't bad enough, they announced that in January of 2028, they will no longer be making physical games. So I don't know what the future is looking like. On top of this, they also did announce that they were also shutting down the PS3 and PS Vita digital storefronts. They tried doing this a couple of years ago. The internet backlashed them, and then they got out of it. But here they are trying again. But on top of that, now they're adding more insult to injury with them announcing that they are completely done with physical games starting in January 2028. So yeah, it's disappointing to see. I'm a big advocate for physical collecting. My whole perception when it comes to video game consoles is physical games is part of the whole video game console experience. Without your physical media, it's pretty much just a more limited PC. But I just find it so weird that they announced this like a couple of days after that they were going to remove, force remove, I should say, content from your library. Now, even though it's movies and TV shows, what's to say they can't do this a couple of years down the road with actual video games, right? For example, okay, Doom the Dark Ages, it's owned by Microsoft, whatever reason, their licensing agreement between PlayStation and Sony ends, and Sony is like, okay, well, now we're going to remove this game from your library. You may have paid 79, 89.99 for it, depending on where you live, but you don't know you can't own it anymore, unfortunately, because our licensing agreement has expired. So, sorry, sucks to be you, but hey, keep on our stuff digitally, and hopefully it doesn't happen again. And just to play devil's advocate for a minute, like I get it, digital every year is becoming more and more mainstream. It's becoming the new norm for when it comes to buying games or movies, DVDs, especially cloud streaming now when it comes to movies and movies and music. But here's the thing with movies and music. Granted, I can go on Amazon Prime or Amazon Prime Music or Spotify or whatever platform is out there, and I can listen to music or watch my movies through those subscriptions. But if I really wanted to, I can go to the mall, go to Sunrise, and buy my movies physically, whether it's DVDs and Blu-rays, which Sony owns. Sony owns Blu-rays, or I can buy my CDs or vinyl records from music. So when it comes to music and movies, you'll have options. The consumer will still have options. When it comes to gaming, it's now slowly coming to an end. And that I don't agree with. There should always be an option for consumers, whether if they want to buy them digitally or buy physically, there should always be an option. Even if they didn't want to ship it out to like Walmart and Best Buy or Target or anything like that, well, the trade off, keep them to the store site, right? Like PlayStation.com or Nintendo.com, Amazon. You go on, buy, and then they'll ship it directly to you, right? If it cuts the cost a little bit to keep these things around, instead of them having to ship to like GameStop and all this stuff, it'll suck not being able to walk in and see these games on the shelf and you'll be able to like take them and look at them kind of thing. But at least you can still do it this way. You can go on their site, buy them, order it, and then there you go. But that's not the case, and this is where we're to now, and everyone is just up in the air. Well, what's going to happen next? Well, Nintendo, first off, Nintendo is fine for 6, 7 years. Again, we have key carts and physical full on cart games, and people don't like the key carts. Um, but like for me, as annoying as it is, because I would rather the full game on the cart. Plus, you won't have like that little law underneath that's taking over the artwork saying key card full game download required. But it's better than a freaking code in the box. Like whatever Grand Theft Auto 6 is doing, it's horrible. There's no sense in going out and buying this thing physically. you're only getting a box with a code on a piece of paper. It'll be no different than going into a store, buying a piece of cardboard that has a code on it, and you go home, enter the code, and oh look, you got your game downloading. It's pointless. It's so pointless, and I just don't agree with it. Like, ah, I just really feel like they're taking the fun out of gaming a little bit, and and I'll always advocate for physical media, right? So think about it this way: Christmas morning, whether it's yourself or you're giving a game to somebody, giving a game to your kid, you know, when they open up the gift or when you open up the gift, you're not gonna have that excitement of like, oh, you're gonna open up and see the beautiful box art because a game you've been really wanting or what they've been wanting, and to get all excited, put the game into the console and then play it for the whole morning, afternoon, day for all Christmas Day, even for birthdays and stuff like that. It's not gonna be like that. You're gonna open up a gift and it's just gonna be a gift card or a piece of cardboard with a code you got to scratch up on the back, and then you got to go on your console and type the code in and download the game. Like what fun? What fun? Where's the fun in that? Not to mention, you can sell your games when you're finished with them. If you don't like them, if you're just looking to declutter your collection, again, you can just sell the game, get some cash, put it towards a game that you're going to want to play, or put it towards bills, or you can put it towards anything really. Like it's your money once you sell off the game. You can't do that with digital games. You cannot do that with digital games, but you can do that with physical games. Oh, and I guess the biggest thing too, you can hold the game in your hand. You can open it, look at it, read everything on it. You can have it there. You have it on your shelf. You can't do that with digital games. They're on your console. The only thing I would argue, I guess, is the convenience factor. You don't have to get up off the couch, take the game out, put another game in. They're just all right there, ready to go, right? And I get that's more convenient. There's a convenience factor to it, but again, you don't really own digital games, right? The only digital storefront I would argue that is really well would be like Steam, right? You don't technically own those games. Again, it's digital, but I have delisted games. They're not going anywhere. I can still play them whenever. Steam has been around for a very long time and it's highly, highly established and kept up pretty well. It's not locked to previous gens. It's all on one thing, you know. But when it comes to say, Nintendo, and again, I'm a big Nintendo fan, so this is, a Nintendo fan speaking on this. With Nintendo and now PlayStation, especially older gens, once those stores are shut down, you won't have access to those DLCs anymore. You won't have access to any DLC for those games that you have. You won't have access to any games that you might want to get that are only on digital for those stores. They're just gone. Granted, if you own them, you can re-download them through that site, I guess, still. But like the Wii and 3DS and Wii U shop, like I can still go on, re-download any games that are not downloaded to my console. But that's coming from a server still. It's coming from a server that can still be shut down whenever. And then you won't be able to download these games anymore. So even though you paid money for them, they are completely lost into the ether or ether, whatever you want to call it. Oh, one thing to kind of trickle back to with advocating for physical media, I can get these games signed by the voice actors, the actors. Like, I would love to have Hideo Kojima and Norman Reedus sign my copies of Death Stranding for PS4, the director's cut on PS5, and Death Stranding 2 for PS5. Right? That'd be so cool to have it. Then you could frame it, put it on the wall. Like you can't do that with digital media. You cannot. It's all digital, so you can't get them to sign anything unless you want them to sign a piece of cardboard with a code on it. Like, ooh, how fun is that? Anyways, I just needed to rant and get that off my chest. I just physical media is such a big important thing when it comes to me and video game consoles. Again, it's a very one-to-one relationship when it comes to that, and I really believe consumers, no matter what, should always have options, right? But you're slowly taking that away from consumers. You're taking it away from the players. It's supposed to be for the players, but now you're taking it away from the players. So it's just so weird to see where we're going. And again, I get it. Like digital media, again, it's starting to mainstream now. It's more mainstream. Every year it's going to become more mainstream, and physical media will lose more and more sales. But if you're still making a couple of billion on physical media, like, keep it around, right? Like, there's obviously a demand for it. There's a market there still for it, but I don't know. It's just it's weird to see where it's all going, and either they're gonna back out of it from all the backlash they've got, or they're gonna let the dust settle and the ashes settle, and then they'll continue on with what they're doing, and then this is the path we're gonna go. But as of now, Nintendo is gonna be fine for, I would say, 6 or 7 years. We'll see what happens when it comes to next gen. If we get Nintendo Switch 3, at least the eShop will be safe because it's all on one eShop because of backwards compatibility, and Switch 3 would 100% have backwards compatibility with Switch 2 and Switch 1 games. The only way I would see this going any differently would be the next Nintendo is a completely new type of system, and that means it would probably have its own storefront then. So then you're at risk of so then you're going to be on the risk of Switch 1 and Switch 2 eShop shutting down at some point after that console launched. But if I had to guess, if I had to put my money where that's going, we're going to see a Switch 3 in like 8 years, and it's just going to come down if they're still going to take carts or not. I maybe, but I don't know. And the only thing I can think of that would help better the situation between Sony, PlayStation, and their fans is Microsoft, for example, has a thing that they're putting into place, because again, they're going all digital too. It's not just PlayStation; they're going that way. They've been more going that way than PlayStation has. This Microsoft has been slowly transitioning to a digital only era, and I think next gen you're going to see it, but they are making it smoother, because they're going to have a digitized system where you pop your game in, and when you pop your game in, it will extract some type of file or code from it, and then it will have it so you own the game digitally on your console. PlayStation hasn't announced any plans of that sort. I really hope they do. I think that would at least smooth this transition. If they're gonna go ahead with this, it would at least smooth the transition, because at least then you can take all your 500,000 plus PlayStation games from PS4 or PS5, put them in the disk drive, and then they will transfer over into a digital format, so that way you can play them digitally, right? You'll own these games then digitally on that console. So I kind of hope they go that route. At least then it will kind of smooth it over a little bit. I know people are still going to be upset, but it does offer a little bit of an incentive, especially for physical collectors like myself. And you're not fully getting screwed over, but it's still going to be digital. And with that all off my chest, I will see you guys next time. Back to the regularly scheduled content for Nintendo stuff, whatever I decide to do. All right. See you guys then. See ya.